welcome back to my channel. And last time we talked about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Before we start talking about the remake, which is now on Disney+, I thought it would be great to take a look what happened beforehand, and trust me, there's a lot to cover. So let's do a little recap. It's gonna be a bit long, so grab something to eat and drink, get comfortable, and let's dive right in. Before we get started, quick disclaimer, I generally don't care what skin color Rachel has or anyone for that matter. If someone acts racist or discriminatory, they immediately blocked. That kind of nonsense has no place in my comments or on my channel. Let's treat each other with respect. I want to make it crystal clear that I distance myself all those debates about whether Rachel well enough to play Snow White. Seriously, where's the line? This video is only about Rachel's statement regarding Snow White and overall promotion of the movie. Now let's go. Let's go back to the very beginning, October 2016. That's when the remake was officially announced. In 2019, Mark Webb was hired as the director. You probably know him from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. In June 2021, Zegler was cast as Snow White. In November of the same year, Zegler joined as the Evil Queen. At that point, Rachel has starred in the remake of The West Side Story and later appeared in The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Zegler, of course, is well known for Wonder Woman and Fast and Furious. Fun fact, at first I didn't mind Rachel's casting. I thought she looked cute. That opinion changed later. Oops. And honestly, I didn't really notice Zegler at the time, so I was like that. But someone who did catch my attention thanks to Pixels and Game of Thrones was Peter Dinklage. In 2022, in the episode of WTF podcast, Peter Dinklage called them outdated and criticized how the dwarf portrayed. First, they don't live in a cave, they live in a beautiful cottage. And second, they weren't evil. They took her in, even gave up their bed. Like, do you remember how cramped their sleeping situation was? They didn't hesitate to rush off to save her. Disney responded. They claimed they were taking a new approach. They said we're working with members of the dwarven community first of all. Who? Secondly, from what I've heard, many little people actually wanted the roles because getting cast in Hollywood isn't easy, especially with dwarfism.
There are actors, dwarf actors, that live that dream to be in a major motion picture such as this Disney remake.
And Peter, I'm not dismissing your journey or your struggles, but just because you made it and now have a great career in shows and movies doesn't mean everyone else had the chance. These were perfect roles for actors who don't often get them.
I can't go out for the Harrison Ford or the George Clooney roles because that's not for me. These dwarf roles are for people of my stature.
That was the first storm around Snow White. The second hit in March 2023. The night Rachel gave what I think was her first interview about Snow White, and honestly, she didn't come off very likable. She complained about her friends.
I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and I have to pretend like, oh God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how often are you?
Not once, but multiple times.
So always, like, my publicist Ashton was with me the last time it happened, and I was like, God, I hope no one, because every time they come up to me, I'm always online for this freaking ride.
Remember when Johnny Depp dressed up as Captain Jack Sparrow and surprised fans at Disneyland? Or when Alan Rickman said he dressed up as Snape when he's older, out of love and appreciation for the character, for the franchise. Rachel complaining about your friends in under 2 minutes. Twice! That must be a record. But there's one thing I do believe when she says,
I'm a narcissist.
In July, we've got leaked photos of the dwarfs, magical creatures. After the Backlash, Disney decided to turn them time into bandits and make the dwarf CGI. One of the bandits is also Snow's love interest. Why not? Girls like bad boys.
You don't trust bad boys, and yet you married one.
Also in July, Rachel posted a tweet thanking those who defend her. I don't know what criticism she meant, but if they were talking skin colors, yeah, that's not okay. Don't do that. It's a no-go. That's not even criticism. Doesn't matter if you're white, black, pink, turquoise, red or yellow. Doesn't matter. You are human. The word is colorful. Deal with it. But if it's constructive criticism, for example, for her interview in March, then engage with it. She also posted charted pictures of herself dressed as Snow White and Belle saying every child can be a princess no matter what, and she's right, everyone can be a princess even if you later trash talk the original film and character. Post charted picture of yourself and say every child can be a princess no matter what, but refusing to engage with prison while doing so, basically playing the victim card. Remember that photo will be important later. That was July. Let's move to August.
August slipped away to a moment in time.
During D23, Rachel's downfall began. Not in one, not two, but 3 interviews she messed up.
Oops.
The first interview was with Entertainment Weekly, and this interview gave me weird vibes. She admitted she didn't know what she was auditioning for.
I had no idea what I was auditioning for when I auditioned.
When she found out it was for Snow White,
I took a pause and realized what I was auditioning for.
she really wanted it.
And like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play that part.
Even though she was scared of a Snow White ride at Disney World.
And then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it.
And even the cartoon itself.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
And only watched it twice in her life, and the second time was for the role.
So I watched it for the first time in probably 17 years when I was doing this film.
I mean, why take the role if you were scared of a ride and not even familiar with the movie? With that kind of reaction,
I will elbow everyone out of the way.
you would think she'd grown up loving Snow White. Like, think of Ariana Grande's reaction when she got cast as Glinda in Wicked. Genuine joy. And that's what I want to see when you have a reaction like that. Instead, Rachel said,
Cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
what about the evil queen? She had power. I mean, she was queen at a time where you couldn't be queen without a king.
When we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader.
You know what real power is? To convince 7 grown men you just met to wash up. And not every character needs to be a girl boss. I didn't like it in The Little Mermaid either. But I have to confess something. I do have something in common with Rachel. I also first saw Snow White on VHS.
That's
years
when
ago.
I watched it on VHS.
Okay, that
This second and the third interview happened on the blue carpet, but let's start with the second interview. It was with Verity, and in this one I actually relate to Rachel,
Am I not crying?
but only I was crying from watching this unfold.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not gonna be
yeah.
saved by the prince.
She's not-
Snow White, a love story without love, like Ghostbusters without ghosts.
She's not going to be dreaming about true love.
What's wrong with that? A lot of girls dream about that. Just because we do doesn't mean we are weak.
She was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
Fearless, I know that one. Taylor.
It's fearless.
Brave and true, I think another princess already has that, but I'm probably imagining that.
Why do my nostrils whisper to me?
And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
I personally identified with the original Snow White. Besides that, we already have strong characters like Mulan, Merida, Diana. Let us girls also have characters who believe in true love. Snow White, Cinderella, Ariel. That doesn't make us weak. Also, we can have both, like Rapunzel.
Alone at last.
And don't get me wrong, I love strong women like Raya, but I would also just love a good love story again. The last interview for the day was with Extra TV, and it didn't get better.
With a guy who literally stalks her.
Is she Barney Stinson, or why is she swapping the villain?
Why don't you go have a party with Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter and Warhorse and all the other movie bad guys and stop ruining mine?
According to the police, stalking is defined as a persistent, obsessive harassment that seriously affects someone's life. Let's see if that fits. Prince hears a voice, climbs over a wall. Okay, it's technically trespassing, but if Santa can do this,
Breaking and entering, okay on Christmas.
Prince can do that too. Pretty privileged. Anyways, he sings for her, finds her in a glass coffin, and saves her. Meanwhile, the evil queen is obsessed with Snow White, wants to kill her multiple times. Compare that to the definition of stalking. Yeah, the queen fits better.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Imagine being Andrew Burnham, playing her love interest, doing promo with her, and then she says stuff like that. I would be pissed, to be honest.
It's Hollywood, baby.
If you think she could get more arrogant, just wait. But for that, let's rewind 1 month to the Hollywood strikes. People were protesting for better pay and working conditions. Then Rachel chimed in.
Say, if I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Rachel, you meant $2 million for Snow White, which is a lot considering you were fairly new in the industry. For the record, Andrew only got $500,000. The strikes were mainly for crew members and behind the scene workers. Her comment is just arrogant. At some point after the backlash, I couldn't find the exact timing. Producer Mark said flew out Rachel in person and said,
Please stop.
From that moment, the wind changed, like in December when Rachel gave another interview. This time it was with someone familiar, Hailey Bailey from The Little Mermaid remake. And that interview is summarized in this comment.
The cartoon's so beloved. It's like a monumental moment in film history.
Yeah.
It was like the first feature-length cartoon movie.
Isn't funny how she's now suddenly all about the movie? Didn't sound like it 5 months ago.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
Remember that childhood photo where I brought her back, acting like she always loved Snow White.
That little girl is still in you, and like she's so proud of you.
Yeah, she wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Just because you wore a princess dress as a kid doesn't mean you love that princess. I had a cheap pink princess dress, and if we're talking about Disney, yeah, people could think it might be Aurora, but Cinderella was always my favorite. I always wanted a dress. Did I get one? Of course not. Anyways, she also claimed she's the first Latina Disney princess.
And obviously for my community, it's a huge moment. And I hope that it's not one of those moments that we hear about in the news where it's like, oh, the first in amount of years. It's the first. Like, I don't want it to be one of those.
But what about Mirabelle, Miguel, Asha? Even a Latina princess already exists. Making Snow White Latina doesn't have community. It helps no one. Same thing with Ariel, only causes division. Now comes the promo stage. They keep acting like Rachel has always loved Snow White.
I love her, and I'm so glad to see that so many of you love her as well.
What Willie's done was this trailer. It's framed like the fairy tale is being brought to life, like Wood's legacy is continuing, but in reality it's more like a slap in the face. Let's focus on Rachel's statement.
Everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces.
I wish I had that level of confidence.
And people still line up to see her.
Who? You? I sure hope you rented out that theater, because I saw videos of empty theaters. There is so much more I could say about her defenders, the box office, but let's just wrap it up. We made it. What can I say in conclusion? I thought a lot about this and I'm still torn. If I wasn't objective enough, I'm sorry, but this topic is very personal to me. Not because I love the remake, but because I love original animated movie and I love Walt. Rachel's claim how much she loves the film and the character, and I don't buy it, and neither do many others, and I'm glad. All of this feels like a slap in the face to every girl who grew up with Snow White, to Walt, to his legacy. Diane Disney, Walt's daughter, once said she didn't want people to forget him just because today's generation only sees the studio.
Well, I want them to remember him as he was, remember the man he was. A lot of people don't know that there was a Walt Disney. They think it's a company logo and that's it.
And that's what's happening with Snow White right now. Even if Disney did things behind the scenes, I would like a statement and apology. Same for Rachel. But even if she gave one, I don't think anyone would believe it now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss future content. I'm doing all of this to chase my dream and to honor Diane's wish that we never get a Walt. I hope I've made her proud, and I hope she's watching with Walt from above. And follow me on Insta, and next time we dive into the remake review. And now I end this video with Diane. So Diane, the stage is yours.
That Disneyland has kept this apartment the way it is. That lamp is always lit in that window over the firehouse, sort of as a symbol that Dad's spirit is still present.